Hello again, everyone. Zack Attack is here, my WWE Raw review for tonight, Monday, June 6th, 2016. Coming to us from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Now, after last week, Raw was up and down. And Raw was just that okay when we went SmackDown. SmackDown was way better than Raw last week. Way better. So the Raw was just so-so. Raw kind of did with a decent better Raw tonight. Hadn't done that Raw to main event. We had a cameo appearance, as you see from a subtitle. The main event wasn't focused that much, besides the little main event segments on the screen, especially after that weird off-putting segment last week. So they needed to kind of huddle up to kind of redeem it. Redeem the booking. And the crowd was almost like last week. Last week's crowd of Green Bay was okay. They kind of sucked, besides that segment, that great segment of Cena in the club. But then, this week's crowd, Oklahoma, they almost sucked too tonight. So, we had a couple screwy endings tonight, but they didn't actually ruin Raw as it did last week. So, there you go. Now, we had a great opening segment, though. The 6 men, 6 guys in my main ladder match. We don't have 7 yet, and I don't even think we're going to have 7. Maybe because Wyatt or Orton was supposed to get that slot, and it didn't return yet. But maybe Wyatt may return next week in New Orleans. That's what I'm hearing. Especially from a tweet that he posted over the weekend. But anyway, we have the 6 current participants. Cesaro, Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, Dean Ambrose, Del Rio, and Chris Jericho. They all came out with ladders, and they were on top of ladders, each on their own, as we began Raw. Talking about Mitb. Owens was like, I'm going to be the one to win. I'm going to be everybody. And I am as big as everybody on this stage besides Sami. You know, tossing jokes at Sami. And there was a little exchange, a little banter between all the 6 guys. Of course, Jericho started calling everyone stupid idiots. God, that's a thing. I see signs that say that. They should make a t-shirt that says stupid idiot. They make so much money on that. It's a meme. And people are chanting it. So. And Dean was standing there. He's like, I don't want to talk. I want to fight. We're supposed to get to the fighting part. Well, we did get to the fighting part. Ambrose was the one that kind of instigated. He attacked Jericho, and the brawl was on. And all 6 men was brawling outside the ring. Like I said, a surprise cameo. It was Teddy Long, player. Former GM of SmackDown. I was watching the Raw pre-show. Yeah. After we watched the Raw pre-show today on the network. They made a UFC joke tonight about them banning a journalist for life over the leakage of the Brock Lesnar return to UFC for a one-off. He still comes to the WWE. But they said on the Raw pre-show that they had a former Raw GM, former SmackDown GM come, especially with SmackDown going live and the brand split returning, and they don't have a new GM yet for SmackDown until later on though. But Teddy Long came out. He wants to win SmackDown again, and he was one of the most prolific SmackDown GMs. If you think about like some of the best SmackDown GMs, obviously you gotta think of like Paul Heyman, and also Teddy Long and Vicky Guerrero. Sadly, Stephanie's on the bottom of the list of SmackDown GMs. And Teddy was like making mumbo jumbo about making matches, but then Stephanie's like, "Hey, I make matches. You don't, Teddy." She said later on, though, after Teddy made a couple more cameo appearances, that she's the one winning SmackDown. I think we all should expect that. Shane should have won Raw. Steph should have won SmackDown. That's how we knew this whole storyline was going to pan out. When they were both announced to both won Raw, like one of them was going to be split. That's how a brand split's going to come up. And that's what's happening. The planning as they go along. But Steph's like, hey, Teddy Long can't make matches, but I can. We're going to have all 6 of you guys in singles competition. Jericho against Cesaro would kick us off. And the others would face off later. As Sami Zayn would take on Del Rio later. And Kevin Owens would take on Dean Ambrose later. As I mentioned, we kick things off with Cesaro and Chris Jericho. And a decent opener Raw. Good athletes between both these great athletes. And Jericho came in with his big flying moves. Big claws. He didn't try to go for the walls of Jericho. while calling everybody stupid idiots again. But then Cesaro came in with some nasty moves, especially the Fog Splat. Not the Fog Splat, that's Owens thing. The uppercuts. Yes, he did do the uppercuts. And he then took Jericho a swinging, swing. Despite Cesaro's best effort, Jericho came in with some big moves trying to come in there. Trying to go for the walls. And that's when Cesaro turned it into the swing. And the ending came when he turned it into the sharpshooter. A tribute to his partner. Still injured partner, who we may never see in the ring again. Tyson Kidd, which is sad. Made Jericho tap. Cesaro gets the victory in this momentum shift match heading into Money in the Bank. Now, we had a couple packages involving Rollins tonight, showing a package from highlights of the WWE 24 special, Seth Rollins. We build, we claim. And I love that special. I love that WWE 24. It's probably my favorite WWE 24 yet, and it's brilliantly done. Talking about his life and coming from his injuries. So I love that special. And then there's great other biopic. I know it's like being bogged down the whole Shield reference. But hey, still need to tell it. And next week, we will see Rollins interact. We didn't see him interact tonight, which was good because it rebound from that stupidly booked segment last week. I thought it was a smart thing, but looking back on it, it was a stupid segment. But they'll be involved in the Ambrose Asylum. Hopefully something good will come out of that. You know, having all three Shield members be involved in a segment. Get very intriguing. So then we're on to our next matchup. Rusev taking on Jack Swagger. Rematch from SmackDown. And it being in Jack Swagger's hometown. With Towson there at ringside. So Rusev came in, pounding on Swagger, Swagger trying to feed off the hometown. I like Swagger. Jermaine's being the morning lately. He was good, especially with Zeb Carter. The We American gimmick was also, we the people. People still do it. That's like the only time that Oklahoma crowd was actually okay was doing Swagger came out. Because he's a hometown boy. It's from Perry, Oklahoma. So despite Swagger kind of feed off the crowd and try to make Rusev tap out to the Patriot Lock, he wasn't able to get the victory. And he got put in the accolades. He got crushed. Actually, he didn't get beat at all. Actually, Swagger didn't get beat by a pin or submission. Count out. They brought on the outside a little bit. Some nasty little spots on the outside. And O'Neal got involved. As Rusev made him get involved. As Rusev clotheslined Swagger into Towson's where we was counting. And Rusev beat the count. So count out. The first of 3 matches that would end screwy tonight. But they're screwy endings with a purpose. That's why I say. Because I'm not being a fan of screwy endings unless they have a purpose. These screwy endings kind of had a purpose. So then Rusev got attacked by Towson as the match ended. Then Swagger came up too. They like double team. We could have ourselves a triple threat for the U.S. Championship. But we already got a multi-person title match made for Money in the Bank, which would be named after our tag team affair that we would have. After a segment. But I think it should be Rusev against Titus one-on-one. Because Swagger's had his opportunities against Rusev last year. Or the year before. In 2014 when Rusev was an over heel. When he was undefeated. And now he's U.S. champ again. So hopefully all the momentum he had lost after losing to Cena would come back. And speaking of losing to Cena and losing momentum, we hope that does not happen to AJ Styles in the club. Who, after pulling a woos on everybody and not splitting up, they beat the crap out of John Cena last week during his Return to Wall. And this was a decent segment for a lot of good things. As Cena came out talking about, AJ, you're supposed to be, a man of your word, but you ended up teaming up with your Bullet Club cronies. Yeah, he actually said Bullet Club. That could get him in the heat. Because he said The Club later, but he said Bullet Club. That was one of the really various things that made this promo decent. And AJ's getting a little better on the microphone. Especially with his club members by his side. And I love that segment last week. You know, it's probably one of the best segments I've won in a while. Just in the crowd was weak the entire night until that segment. You were chanting AJ Styles, let's go Cena. Even Cena mentioned it before AJ came out. AJ's like, we've been through different worlds. You and me, we come from different worlds. So I had to make a Udi the Blowfish reference. Anywho, they both came from different worlds. It is a dream match. No one thought we ever see these two in any ring at all. You know, AJ was the face of TNA, and Cena has been the face of WWE for so long. So when these two interacted last week, it was crazy. I said it on my review last week. So Cena's like, why, AJ, why did you have to resort to tactics like this to have the cronies team up with you after saying you're going to go your own way? But AJ's like, well, from the back, if you lose to John Cena, you have to dig a shuffle because Cena buries people. Yep. AJ Styles actually used the phrase bury into talking about how Cena buries people. Bury is a misused term in the wrestling world because burial means another thing. But to us, burial means when somebody good gets buried by someone we hate, and then Cena. And I love that AJ actually mentioned it. Especially he saw so many people lose momentum after losing to Cena. And now losing the Reigns is almost the same thing as losing to Cena. Which AJ's unfortunately suffered that fate twice now in the last two pay-per-views. So he needs a win over Cena in my mind. And then Cena will probably bury him after. Because it's what happened. Like, the heel wins the first match. That's what happened with Owens. Owens won the Elimination Chamber. Then lost at Money in the Bank and Battleground. But he regained his momentum. He's in the Money in the Bank ladder match. So as the club were going to beat down Cena again in a 3-on-1 attack, the New Day came in to even the odds. As they prepared for the 6-man tag main event. To get a little revenge for what happened last week when the club started the domination by Gallows and Anderson attacking the New Day, leading up to, of course, the big payoff with AJ beating up on Cena. Brilliantly done. So now on to our tag team match, which would set up the tag team title match for Money in the Bank. Enzo and Cass taking on the Vaudevillains in a rematch from Payback. The match when Enzo got concussed, sadly. Because I was very looking forward to this match at Payback, because these two are my favorite teams that came out of NXT. I was hoping to put on a good match until the sad ending that kind of spoiled the entire pay-per-view Payback. Kind of ruined the entire card, because momentum went down. He had some good highlights on that card, especially the only one really good things was Owens and Zayn's match was incredible. So yeah, these two face up again. Decent match with Enzo getting isolated in the corner. Vaudevillains coming in with some new t-shirts, mainly. But then Cass got tagged in, coming like a house of fire, but then Enzo got in, and he almost got concussed again, because the concussion spot was an accident. But this was purposeful. They had the exact same spot. The Vaudevillains took Enzo's head, ran him against the middle wall, kind of like I said, the spot at Payback, but more intentional. Cass went ape shit. He beat the crap out of the Vaudevillains, stomping a motto on their asses, causing a disqualification and a second screwy finish of the night. But it was a screwy with a purpose. As after this match, we'd find out the tag team title match for Money in the Bank. I thought it would be the club against New Day. But it's better than that. We have ourselves a fatal 4-way. It's the club challenging New Day. But two more challengers. Enzo and Cass and the Vaudevillains. I think it's an interesting move. I think WWE saw the success of the fatal 4-way of the IC Championship match at the pay-per-view last month, Extreme Rules. Like, we had so much success with the IC Championship fatal 4-way. Let's have another fatal 4-way. This time for the tag titles. And wouldn't it be interesting to see the New Day lose here? Especially losing their tag team titles in the same style of match that they actually won the titles at. That was a fatal 4-way as well. At SummerSlam last year, when he defeated Primetime Players, who were the champs at the time. It was kind of weird when Primetime Players beat New Day at all during their first week because it was so over. They were starting it over. They lost the momentum with losing to Primetime, then after they won at SummerSlam, momentum was regained for them. It also involves Lucha Dragons and Los Menezes before it became the Shining Stars, and now they're about to get buried. The gimmick didn't go over. And now I think Vince is hating it too. And guess what? He has the right to, because I knew they were going to come out the crickets. And guess what? They did. And that's why I haven't seen him wrestle since the debut. But I think it's also the same New Day. I think the purpose why they're having a fatal four-way, more teams can get in it. And also, New Day cannot get pinned. They're probably not going to New Day have the pin to lose the championships. They're probably going to like Enzo and Cass take the pin over our villains. So Gallows and Anderson win without actually pinning New Day. That's what could probably happen here. But speaking of fatal four-ways, the fatal four-ways championship was great, but why did they have the Miz win? Like looking back, especially these little vignettes, Miz is actually filming a movie right now. If you knew Miz was making a movie, why did you let him win the IC Championship match when you knew he was going to make a movie and not be able to be on Raw for a couple of weeks? I do like what they're doing. They had that last week with the Miz segment. They didn't have it again this week. Continuity broke up there, but still. Like, I remember that Randy Orton news thing. I actually wrote a letter to that. The Randy Orton News Network when he was injured. Those spots he did. I actually went on the email. I actually wanted to get well letter. I actually did that. Memories. So anyway, so we have a fatal four-way match. Champ for tag team titles. Or should I say the WWE World Tag Team Championships. Could be 1-on-1, but I like the addition of the other two teams. Now the two-man they'll be Money in the Bank. A lot of matches at pay-per-view. Alberto Del Rio taking on Sami Zayn. The underdog of the underground. They actually made a shirt, new shirt for that phrase. These little matchup with Sami Zayn coming with big moves. Because it's high-flying style. Coming with the just physicality and grappling style of Del Rio. But he's a luchador too. Because his dad was a famous Mexican wrestler, and his uncle was Los Mascaras, who was in the WWE Hall of Fame. So after decent showing, especially if Sami Zayn teaching his big moves, the moves of the bomb, and at one point for the Luva kick, Del Rio would counter it. Despite Zayn's best efforts, he got put into the double knee stomp, double foot stomp. He got hung up in a tree of woe, and that's when he got set up, like I said, for the stomp from Del Rio. Pinned him 1-2-3 victory for Del Rio. Wow, actually, seeing Sami Zayn lose, he's losing a lot lately. Lost to Owens at Payback and lost tonight. But still, hopefully Zayn can get some momentum, especially going to Money in the Bank ladder match. But Del Rio's got some momentum too because he won his match. We have our third and final match involving both the remaining members of Money in the Bank now, which is Dean Ambrose and Kevin Owens, reigniting their feud from over the winter for the IC Championship. And this match is almost as good as the previous showings. Because I love the Royal Rumble match. The last Man Standing match was awesome. When that match was booked, I knew that match would be awesome. And it was. It didn't live up to that expectation. Kind of like when we knew Owens and Zayn was booked for Payback, we knew that match was going to be awesome. And it lived up to that expectations. Unlike Ambrose and Jericho's match, which had some slow spots and good spots, but it actually kind of lagged. Kind of like Taker and Shane. But anyway, these matches between Ambrose and Owens were good spots, especially when Owens did the frog splash from the apron onto the floor to Ambrose. And he got cannonballed, Ambrose did. After 2 attempts, Owens did it. I've been a big Owens guy since he came in from NXT. Came in to NXT. And he's just a badass, So despite Owens' best efforts and numerous attempts at Papa Powerbomb, after the frog splash on the floor, he tossed Ambrose back in and tried to set up for the Papa Powerbomb, but failed again. And Ambrose turned into Dirty Deeds and 1-2-3 victory for Dean Ambrose. So Ambrose was celebrating the victory, and he grabbed the ladder, and he was trying to grab the briefcase. So then Ambrose got tossed out by Owens, but Owens didn't climb the ladder. That could be hinting something. We had a SmackDown tease last week. We had the guys bring out the ladders, and we had Cesaro climb the ladder, teasing the grabbing the belt, grabbing the briefcase. Tonight we had Ambrose climbing the briefcase, fake retrievement. Maybe they're teasing it because they're not going to be the ones winning it. Because we didn't see Owens climb it. You know why I think he didn't climb to tease us? Because he's going to be the winner. He's saying that he's got this destiny. It's his destiny to become a Money in the Bank winner. And guess what? That may become his prophecy may become true. Especially with, that's why I think he didn't climb the ladder. Because he's going to climb it at the pay-per-view and actually retrieve it. That's why I think he didn't climb. Because he's going to win. He's going to win. He's not going to be a loser. He's going to win. The Bryan Adams reference to a lesser known song, We're Gonna Win, from his album 18 Till I Die. Cheap plug. Like Owens had a cheap plug for the network. So I love that segment earlier when Ambrose was like, I don't care, I'm going to fight everybody. I'm going to fight Nation Dominations, the more people. That was a funny little action, especially when Ambrose was getting antsy and wanted to fight instead of talking. Because he wanted a little ass song and a lot more action. Some of these music references tonight, but that's what you get when you have a guy like me who's not only a huge wrestling guy, but also a music fan and a disc jockey. So you're going to get some song references. Because I said it last week too, because I had the Golden Truth, the long and winding build. Speaking of that, we get to them. And Breezango, before we get to that interaction, we had Charlotte coming out with Dana Brooke. With Charlotte trying to apologize for her turning on her dad a couple weeks back. But not everyone was buying her sincerity. More like insincerity. If those ain't buying it, were Becky Lynch and Natalya coming out. Saying, you ain't buying this. And Charlotte was like trying to make nice. And trying to pick up with Dana, but it was all a ruse. To suck her in. Becky and Natalya to get the butts handed to her. Despite trying to outrun the numbers, they are put in precarious positions. As Dana Brooke would deliver her big finisher on Becky, and Natalya put in a submission hold by Charlotte. I think it's like a new submission hold. Because she's trying to disassociate herself with her dad. It would make sense to not have her use the figure four as a finisher. Because he's like, oh, I hate my dad, and I disown my dad, but you're still using his finisher. So I thought she had a new submission hold on Charlotte, using it on Natalya. So now on to our interaction involving Breezango and Golden Truth. With all Truth would take on Tyler Breeze. It's going to come up with Golden Truth actually winning a match. But I think Breezango has more chemistry and have better interaction with each other than Golden Truth does. Golden Truth, like, building it for months, and they have a little bit of lack of chemistry, these two guys. And they're showing it by not having them win the matches. That their storyline problems may equal what they lack in teamwork in real life. Because they're not gelling at all on or off screen. Because I think Breezango's acting, they should be the ones getting pushed and going into it, especially giving Tyler Breeze and Fandango something to do instead of just wallowing around in the bottom mid-card. Lower mid-card, like the really low mid-card, like bombing a fucking barrel. But hopefully with this brand split, whatever brand they're on, they'll get pushed a lot more and get more attention to. Because the brand split could be a good thing and bad thing. Because I made a video about that. So, it was ended up being a no contest after all four guys got involved. And even Teddy Long made another cameo trying to make a tag team match. That was his thing, like, I'm making this a tag team match or a six-man match, but it was tossed up by security. And that's when Stephanie revealed that she would be winning SmackDown. That's what she says. That's what she said. So we'll see if it holds true. Now on to our main event. Our scheduled, that's the key word here. Scheduled six-man tag involving the New Day. Xavier, Biggie, and Kofi take on AJ. And Anderson and Gallows, because I did like AJ and Kofi's match last week on SmackDown. Yeah, he had an interaction heavy, but I like them match on SmackDown. I watch SmackDown live. I don't make reviews for it, though. I should, but I don't. I make Raw reviews, but not SmackDown reviews. Anywho, before the match even started, a brawl was on, and Xavier looked really good here. He did some high-flying moves and some interaction with AJ. It's kind of weird to see Xavier and AJ in the same ring again. You saw about AJ and Cena getting involved for the first time ever, but it's kind of interesting to see guys that used to work in another company with each other get in the ring for another company. That's the case with Xavier and AJ. They were both in TNA at one point. Because AJ was there and Xavier was Consequences Creed. got him in that whole thing when he debuted. And the whole wacky gimmick. He was like, especially his hair back then. He had an afro back then, but I like his hair now. But please thank his best efforts to try to get a one-up on the club before the match started. The club was just taking him out on the outside with the coup de grace. Started steal Balor's finisher, but I had to say it. As AJ would deliver the Styles Clash on the floor to Xavier, turning it into a scheduled 6-man to a handicap match. So despite the man down, Kofi and Big E barely fought on. And fought against the numbers hard against the club. But the club was too tough, too strong, and too many. 3-on-2. Despite Kofi coming with big boom drops, and of course, Big E with some big splashes, Pele kicks and all, AJ the club would get him momentum. That was a nasty kick to Big E on the floor, to Pele. And then Big E got in with Anderson missing a splash. Kofi comes with a big house of fire. With an SOS to AJ. The SOS he did to AJ on SmackDown was way better. And also need to mention the crowd sucked when New Day came out. Because when New Day comes out, do the, oh, Instant City here! The crowd, normally the crowd when New Day music hits, crowd's like, yay! And Oklahoma's like, oh, Oklahoma City! Like, they were shit tonight for that. Come on, New Day's one was over there. Maybe it's just you already seen them. And maybe because you're tired from a 3-hour show. But you acted like that throughout the entire show, not just during that segment. You acted like you were dead the entire night, mostly. So, well, put the crowd again out of the way. Despite, like I said, the valiant efforts of the New Day, Styles, like I said, got the SOS on Kingston. And it was, the SOS on SmackDown was nastier and better. This one was okay. But it got distracted by the club and got Styles crashed by AJ in the 1-2-3 victory. Actually, not the Styles Clash. He teased it on Kofi. But actually got the phenomenal forearm instead. He got the victory over Kofi and pinned him. Pinned Kofi again for the second time in a week. As the club stood tall. They may have won the battle, but may not won the war. As the beatdown was on the New Day after the match, I said during the match to myself, I was like, Cena's going to get involved in this match. Either during the match or after it. And guess what? He did get involved. He was beaten up by Anderson and Gallows, and Styles ran out. But with Cena's back turned, he got in the ring, bang, got beat up by AJ from behind, got turned up by AJ. But then Kofi came in for the save. Then Biggie came in with a big ending on Anderson, and Gallows got FU'd. Or was it the opposite? Gallows got big ended, and Cena FU'd Anderson. Anyway, both members got their finishes from Biggie and Cena. As Cena and New Day stood tall, we could see a 6-man tag next week of New Day with Cena replacing Xavier probably to take on the club. I thought they were going to have that match tonight, especially after Xavier taken out. I thought they were going to have Cena inserted in that match, but they didn't. Probably going to save it for next week. As now, of course, Cena will take on AJ, and the club will be in a fatal 4-way for the tag team titles. It was interesting to have the club win, but then got taken out by Cena. Hopefully, a sign of things to come with Cena standing tall over the club and burying him. So there you go. The club does look good against Cena in the end. Despite the way Cena looked at the end of the war tonight. If people are saying this might be the best Money in the Bank pay-per-view ever, and it's looking like it. As long as it lives up to the hype, because you got a great Money in the Bank match in the making with 6 great guys, 4 great guys, and 2 guys that might not deserve to be in it. You have Styles and Cena, the Fatal 4-way for the tag titles, Woman and Rollins, which will be booked better. Hopefully the Ambrose Asylum will make up for the shady booking thus far. The shady build. And we're probably going to Rusev US title match, a women's match. We haven't got that made up yet. I bet it'll be a tag match. Involving Shaw and Becky, enemy Dana against Becky and Natalia. That's what I think. In a women's Money in the Bank match, well, it may not happen. So, see what happens on Raw next week in New Orleans. Hopefully they're a better crowd than Oklahoma. And also better than Green Bay as well. that is it for my Raw review for tonight. Thank you so much for watching. With that in mind, you've been attacked by the review from Zach. I shall leave you with a too sweet, and bye-bye. Oh, yeah.